I'm going to jump directly to a few questions with Romain, if you may, because actually, Romain, your robots do rely on some serious tech, I know, but this pandemic has been a huge boost, let's face it, when it comes to Exotec's business. Your Skypods, if I may, are skyrocketing globally. So do you think the situation has been an opportunity for you to help scale?
Yes, we are the kind of company that was boosted by the pandemic. In fact, we see the performance of our system. We are connected to all of our system, and most of them are doing e-commerce preparation, e-commerce logistics. And we saw the throughput of our system double during the pandemics. And even after the pandemics, especially on e-grocery, the throughput was still plus 30% more. So I would say on the usage of our system, we have seen a big difference. And also on the market, we have seen a difference. I think before the customer were maybe discussing, should we go for automation, should we go for robotics? And the pandemics are really changed their mind, and they know that they cannot get such performance, throughput, and speed in their warehouse without going toward automation and robotics. So the mindset has changed, and the market is really mature now for us. Of course, I should add that we had many challenges. It was not that easy. We have sold robots to Japan just before the pandemic, so then we had to deploy our system while all the border was closed. But we managed to do it. So it was really a boost for the company.
Still a lot of challenges along the road. I definitely understand that. Let me jump real quick to Florian, actually, because Jedox is providing enterprise performance management cloud solutions. Your story is actually quite interesting when it comes to the SaaS business. What made you be a wannabe unicorn?
Good question, thank you, and thanks for having me. Yeah, for those who are maybe not familiar with EPM, Enterprise Performance Management, this is most around planning, budgeting, and forecasting, right? And the short answer is that we view ourselves as kind of the ERPs of the future. So while ERPs are kind of collecting data and doing nice reports, we are those who plan for the future, scenario analysis, and so on. And referring to our mission, and that what we have experienced the last 2 years, and we are experiencing each and every day, world is moving faster, a lot of more disruption, uncertainties. And Jedox is simply helping to formulate the business in the future with most modern cloud technology, AI-based, and all these things that are kind of already normal, but that help our customers to literally perform better, especially improve their competitive situation and position, and by that contribute also to a kind of better working world and collaboration amongst departments.
Well, you know, navigating uncertainty is sure valuable to me. Guillaume, from your perspective and as CFO of Forto, of course, we definitely dive a little while ago into what Forto is all about, but what makes you the valuable company you are today?
Hi, everybody. So, look, I think Mike gave a very good answer to that question in a kind of a 10-minute presentation. So let me try and answer your question in a short nutshell. I think ultimately what Forto is doing is we're solving big problems for our customers in an industry which is at the same time massive and at the same time broken. Broken in what sense? It's highly dysfunctional. So, you know, the global freight industry right now runs on pen and paper, basically. People manage their supply chain with emails, spreadsheet, phone. It's highly inefficient. And so the vision that Forto had since the beginning was, we're going to do something which helps our customers do all of this really easily, actually save cost. The whole booking, the whole management of their shipment is effectively seamless. So creating a platform that is a single source of truth for them to do all of that super, super easily. So that vision is effectively what we executed on in the past 5 years. We recruited, nurtured a stellar team in executing that vision, which I think is a essential part of getting to where we are. With commitment, focus, resilience, because building a rocket ship is actually a hard thing to do. But I think from my perspective and from our perspective, unicorn status is something we achieved earlier this year. The good news is that it's just the beginning.
So let's see if actually being a unicorn is that much of rocket science. What does it take to be a 1 billion valuable company? Is it, breakthrough technology, guys? Is it a lot of effort? Is it being focused as ever? Is it better funds? Is it some kind of luck, Romain, at some point?
I think at the beginning it takes the right product at the right moment on the right market. So it means listening to the market, building the right stuff, but also, I should admit, a bit of luck. And that's what happened for us. But I think also we find the right thing because we were discussing a lot with the customer to build our product. Well, everybody will tell that, but that's probably the biggest stuff if you start a company. Then I think we are quite original on the field because we do hardware. The company is 70% software, but there is still 30% hardware. And what we deliver to our customer, it's a robotics system. And when you do hardware, what you send to your customer, you cannot upgrade it easily from a hardware perspective or change it. So it means you need to send the perfect machine that won't have any failure. And the industrial quality, the execution quality, for us, it's a key of our success. You really cannot afford to create an install base which creates to you a technical debt and then having to change it on the field. We have robots everywhere in the world. So you need to build them here in the north of France and then to send them in Japan. You open the box and it works. That's done. You cannot send someone to repair the robot. So I think this quality of execution was a key to Exotec. And I think we have two main brain, which has a part which is an innovative startup mind, I would say like the cliche, but we have another side of our brain, which is really the industrial high quality grade that we need to deploy on our machine. I think having built this culture on this both sides has been one key, I hope, to our success.
That's a mindset. Thank you so much. I know that you have to run. So if you do have to, just jump into your next call, I guess. I'm just going to dive into this question with Romain and Florian. Again, what does it take to be a unicorn, gentlemen? Florian.
I'm happy to go first, and I think there are tons of ingredients. Nevertheless, everyone is up for a recipe, so take out your pens, and we will exactly dictate you how it works out. No, in my eyes, it's literally two pieces that need to come together. So you, on one hand side, you need to have a really kind of prosperous, good, valuable performing company. And on the second hand side, if you're talking about valuation, you also need to pull some triggers that drive valuation, right? So, and in that regards, for me, it's some pieces have to come together. We are here today at the Iris Day, so I also don't want to forget that it needs a piece from the investor side, and that is not only writing a check, it's also guidance, it's experience, it's also motivation, etc. On the other hand side, of course, it's a lot about the companies and the business models and the market opportunities. And in my eyes, when we are talking about unicorns, a lot is about tech. So I think tech is less an okay, rather a KO criterion. So if you don't have that, you won't make it. I think where the real difference is talent. So, I mean, those who follow my posts, it's really, I think really talent is imperative, right? And to spending time and effort to get the right talent on board, also to get the right talent on board for the various stages of a company, to focus the talent and the capacity is definitely one of my key themes, and that has to do a lot with saying no, right? To say what to do and especially what not to do. I assume, and I don't want to put words in someone's mouth here, but I assume that all our teams are super engaged, are super positive, they are up for more, they are massively hungry. And that's great, right? This is what we're up for. But this also means you need to kind of orient this kind of energy and keep the momentum. So a lot is about what we do and what we not do, and to be very precise about the next steps of transformation and the next step of transformation. And I think this is what then at the very end builds a unicorn. In my eyes, is a stable unicorn or more sustainable unicorn than any kind of strange valuations that we have also seen out there in the market, and that in my eyes do not reflect the true value of a so-called unicorn. And at Jedox, I mean, our kind of horn is growing and growing and growing. So hopefully we count into the bucket of the 6 companies mentioned before that. But at least that's the recipe I myself and the team is falling on.
Sure, you're definitely on the threshold of being a unicorn yourself. But so I do get the.
Excuse me, I will bounce.
Sure.
I will bounce on what you said to have just a few words before leaving.
Let's do.
I think being a unicorn is just to please your investors. So what people needs to please is their customer first, and unicorn will be a result of that. And really, customer focus is really, I think, the key to building great companies.
And they definitely heard you loud and clear. Thank you so much, Romain, for stepping by the Ares Day 2021.
Bye.
So I just want to have your perspective, actually, Guillaume, on this idea. We're just, building on the fact that, of course, being a unicorn is also about talents and how to manage those talents. We've seen that you've been, able to build quite an impressive team yourself at Forto. Do you also think that maybe by being a unicorn, a more diverse type of team and talents would be a good idea?
So your question is about diversity?
My question is probably that once you're being a role model, such as being a unicorn, and you can probably get some better ideas of bringing on diversity to some team sometimes.
Well, so first of all, I think scale helps, and unicorn status definitely helps in a number of things, and hiring is actually one of these things. I think what we're currently focused on is expanding internationally, expanding in products, and and scaling to the next level. And I think in scaling to the next level, one of the really difficult things is you need to hire a lot of people, a lot of quality people. You need to actually continue hiring A-type people so that they continue to hire A+ type people so that you don't degrade the quality. And you need to nurture diversity and not risk the culture. And hiring scale, I think it's a big challenge. So having an active focus on what your culture actually means and what you can do to make it self-sustaining, and diversity is definitely an absolutely essential part to that. Is vital. So it's probably different from the very early stage, but when you get into scale-up territory, this is probably one of the most vital things to do.
Traction effect, of course. Now, of course, Exotec had to run, but it's definitely originated from France. You guys originated from Germany, of course. And your playing fields are definitely Europe, even though your global markets are definitely up there. Do you think that those two ecosystems, France and Germany, are fostering better now the way we can actually have more and more unicorn? Are we getting there? I mean, have we actually, get on the secret recipe to foster better innovation and better companies?
Should I start? So I'm French. I'm the CFO of a Berlin-based unicorn, and the past 20 years of my career I've spent mostly in the US and the UK. And I guess the perspective I have on this question is France versus Germany is probably a second order of magnitude influencer of whether, or driver of whether unicorns are successful or startups are successful. Where we live in free countries and you can think what you want, you can be an entrepreneur. There are clear differences between the two. When it comes to bureaucracy, we're pretty good both of the countries. Actually, I think Germany on balance is probably worse. If you want to get a document apostilled or notarized, it's actually more painful than in France. I think on labor, social, etc., it's probably easier, a little bit easier in Germany. But these are not making or breaking whether a good idea can become a startup, which can become a unicorn, in my view. So the good news also is that all of these things, whether it's fiscal, whether it's labor law, or bureaucracy, on paper should be easy to fix. And we can certainly progress on all of these. My perspective is that the big difference is actually more deep, and it's not between France and Germany or the UK, it's actually with the US mostly. And as much as we have an ecosystem which nurtures and can allow startups to scale in Europe. The reason why, in my view, we have a lower number, a sheer lower number of startups is because we don't define success at a very early age of how we educate our children the same way. We don't also perceive failure the same way. So failure on the one hand is either shameful or just a step towards success. And success in itself in Europe is very much based on having a nice responsibility, nice salary in a well-established, enterprise. It's a broader definition in the US, and in my view, that's a much deeper, but also a first-order magnitude reason of a difference.
So mindset and culture shift are definitely crucial here when it comes to better fostering 1 billion, 10 billion, 100 billion valuation companies, of course. Florian, what's your perspective? As Europe, or actually did Europe catch up on the trend to foster better companies and unicorns and innovation? Are we getting there?
Again, back to the regionalities, so geographies. I'm super with you that the differences are marginal between our partner countries, Germany and France. In my eyes, if you really want to serve customers and predominantly speaking now for our B2B business might behave a bit different, turning focus on B2C. In my eyes, it is a mixture between having a global motion that ensures repeatability, having best practices that come internal, so it's about talent development, but external also bringing AA plus players, etc. on board, and deploying that, what does best look like globally. And thirdly, it's about capacity, which is hiring at scale and enabling these capacities fast possible. That said, in my eyes, it has to happen from a structural perspective globally, but from a deployment and execution perspective locally. So I would struggle with an idea that you can serve an US customer similar as an Asian, as an Australian, as a Middle East GCC or Nordic customer in the same way. So this is the reason I use this week to be with my French team here and meeting French customers and absolutely supporting that local motion that is folded into the global motion. So in a nutshell, I don't see that any ecosystem of a company, of a country makes the big difference, but it is taking the best practices of the characters, the education, the mindset all together and deploying that by global motion, repeatability and scalability across the system.